The average American household spends over $1,000 on groceries every month and throws away approximately 30% of what it buys. That is $300 a month leaving the house in a bin bag. $3,600 a year, not spent on bad food. Spent on food that was bought, stored poorly, forgotten, and eventually discarded. My grandmother spent a fraction of that. Not because she bought cheaper food, because she ran her kitchen by a set of rules so different from the Western default that almost nothing was ever wasted. Before I explain what those rules were, this is not a fast-cut video designed to keep you watching through stimulation. It is a real system, explained properly. Give it your full attention. The first rule is the one that underlies everything else. My grandmother never went to the shop and then decided what to cook. She decided what to cook and then went to the shop. This distinction sounds minor. It is not. Most people shop from a general sense of what they usually buy, supplemented by whatever looks good or is on promotion. The result is a refrigerator full of ingredients that do not combine into any particular meal, some of which will be used and some of which will not, with no clear way to predict which is which until the end of the week when the evidence arrives, in the form of things that need to be thrown away. My grandmother's shopping list was a meal plan written backwards. She knew every meal she would cook for the week before she spent a single dollar. She knew exactly what each meal required. She bought exactly that. Nothing else. The result was a refrigerator with less in it that was used more completely, not because she was a more disciplined person, because the system she used made waste structurally difficult. You cannot throw away food you never bought. The second rule is what she called, though she never named it, the whole ingredient principle. In a Western kitchen, ingredients tend to have one use. A chicken breast is a chicken breast. It is cooked, it is eaten, and whatever remains is a leftover that may or may not get used. In my grandmother's kitchen, a whole chicken was a system. The first night it was roasted and eaten as a meal. The carcass and any remaining meat went immediately into a pot with cold water and vegetable odds and ends. That simmered for 2 hours and became stock. The stock became the base of the next 2 or 3 meals. A soup, a braise, a bowl of rice cooked in it instead of water. The fat, skimmed from the stock, became the cooking medium for something else. 1 chicken, 5 meals, nothing wasted. The vegetable peelings that a Western kitchen sends directly to the bin went into a jar in the cool part of my grandmother's kitchen. Onion skins, carrot ends, celery leaves, mushroom stems. At the end of the week, that jar went into the stock pot. The stale bread that a Western kitchen throws away became breadcrumbs, or a thickener for soup, or was sliced thin and dried into something closer to crackers. Every ingredient had a primary use and a secondary use. Nothing with a remaining nutritional value was discarded while that value still existed. The third rule is about shopping frequency, and this is the one that most directly challenges the Western default of the weekly supermarket run. My grandmother shopped more often and bought less each time. Not a weekly shop, loading up a trolley with everything that might be needed. A daily or every other day visit to buy specifically what the next 1 or 2 meals required. This sounds inefficient. It is the opposite. The weekly shop requires you to predict 7 days of meals in advance and buy for all of them simultaneously. The prediction is almost always wrong in some places. Some things get used, some do not, and the gap between prediction and reality is where food waste lives. Buying for 1 or 2 meals at a time requires no prediction beyond the immediate. You know what you're cooking tonight and tomorrow. You buy what those 2 meals need. Nothing sits in a refrigerator for 6 days waiting to be used before its quality degrades. The food is always fresh because it was bought to be used immediately. The Japanese neighborhood grocery model, small shops close to home, visited often, buying small quantities, is not a cultural quirk. It is a system that produces fresher food, less waste, and lower total spending than the weekly bulk shop that most Western households default to. You do not need a neighborhood grocery to apply this logic. You need to buy less more often for meals you have already decided on. The fourth rule is about what my grandmother kept in her kitchen permanently versus what she bought fresh. Her pantry held a specific set of staple ingredients that were always present and from which almost any meal could be built. Rice, dried noodles, miso paste, soy sauce, rice vinegar, dried mushrooms, sesame oil. A small collection of dried beans and lentils. These things do not spoil. They are the foundation from which fresh ingredients become complete meals. With a strong pantry, the fresh shopping list becomes very short. You need protein, a vegetable or 2, and something aromatic. The pantry does the rest. Most Western kitchens have the opposite architecture. A large, fresh section of things that need to be used quickly, and a small or poorly stocked pantry that cannot bridge the gap when fresh things run out or go bad. The result is that when fresh food is not used in time, there is nothing to fall back on, and the solution is another shopping trip rather than a pantry meal. My grandmother almost never made unplanned shopping trips, because her pantry was always strong enough to turn whatever fresh ingredient remained into a complete meal. The fifth rule is the most counterintuitive of all. My grandmother cooked less at each meal, not more. The Western instinct is to cook enough for leftovers. to make a large batch and eat from it across several days. This sounds efficient, but it produces a specific failure mode. Leftovers require the next meal to be determined by what was cooked last time. They reduce variety and over time tend to feel like an obligation rather than a meal. And when they are not eaten, which happens more often than people admit, they are waste that was cooked specifically to be stored and then not used. My grandmother cooked fresh, small quantities almost every meal. The efficiency was not in the volume cooked, it was in the speed of preparation, a practice built over decades of cooking simply with well-stocked pantry ingredients that required minimal processing. A bowl of miso soup, rice, a quickly prepared protein, and a fermented or fresh vegetable. 20 minutes, fresh. Nothing left over to become an obligation, nothing stored to be eventually discarded. These 5 rules together: plan before you shop, use whole ingredients across multiple meals, buy small and often for what you have already decided to cook, keep a strong pantry, and cook fresh in small quantities, are not a budget strategy in the narrow sense. They are a fundamentally different relationship between a kitchen and the food that moves through it. In the Western model, the kitchen is a storage facility for food that may or may not get used. In the Japanese model my grandmother practiced, the kitchen is a system where nothing enters without a clear destination and nothing leaves without having served its purpose. The grocery bill that results from the second model is not lower because the food is cheaper. It is lower because almost none of it is wasted. $300 a month in food that does not get thrown away is $3,600 a year that stays in your account. Not because you spent less at the shop, because you used what you bought. That is the Japanese kitchen rule. It is not a recipe. It is a system. And it begins not in the kitchen, but in the decision made before you leave for the shop. What are we eating? What does that require? Only that.